Hello guys, my name is Balkrishna Shastav and welcome to CodeWithBK. So in this video, we read Java code solution for question 3 of ISC 2023 Computer Science Practical Boards paper, which is this question on strings. So before we begin, it is a request to please subscribe to my channel, because out of 100 viewers, only 1 or 2 are subscribed, and a subscription is very important. So please subscribe to my channel. So let's begin. So this is the question 3 of ISC 2023 Computer Science Boards Practical paper on strings. Okay, give this a reading. Alright. So basically you have to accept a paragraph that contains 2 sentences. A sentence is valid only if it is terminated by either dot, question mark or exclamation only. Then you have to obtain the length size of the 2 sentences separately, find common words in which occur in both sentences. Okay, and this is the example input output. And I took this question from a third party source. So I'm not very sure if the input was both the sentences in one single line or 2 sentences in 2 separate lines, because then the solution changes a lot based on the type of input. So first I am going to show you solutions when the input is 2 separate lines, and then I'm going to write the solution where you have one single line of input which contains 2 sentences, which is basically a paragraph. Alright, so let's begin. So I'm going to start with the main public static void main string args. Okay, now since I am considering 2 separate lines of input as the 2 lines of the paragraph, I am going to read 2 separate sentences. So scanner equal to new scanner system dot in. Okay, scanner dot close. Okay, don't close the scanner, does not matter. I just have practice, so I close the scanner. Okay, I also have to do import java.util.scanner. Okay, considering this is part A. Okay, because I'm not sure what was the input format in the original question. So part A is considering the input was 2 separate lines as 2 lines of the paragraph. Okay, and the other case will be where there is only one single line as input paragraph. So the extra code that we will add later will be basically getting the 2 lines out of the one single input line, which is the paragraph. Okay, so read the 2 lines. So string line 1 is scanner dot next line. Similarly, line 2 is scanner dot next line. So this is how you read input if your input was 2 separate lines. Okay, now the first thing that you have to check if they are terminated by either dot, question mark or exclamation only. So I'm going to write a separate helper method, static boolean is valid terminating char c. So you can choose a shorter name if you want. So this function basically checks if c is one of these. Okay, so I return c equal to dot, or c equal to question mark, or c equal to exclamation mark. Alright, so in my main, after reading the 2 lines of input, I check if these 2 lines end with the correct terminating char. Okay, char c1 is line 1 dot char at line 1 dot length minus 1. Similarly, we have c2. Okay, line 2 dot char at line 2 dot length. Okay, so if not is valid terminating char c1, or not is valid terminating char c2. Okay, so you print invalid input. Okay, so in one of the sample cases it is invalid paragraph. Again, I took this from a third party source, so I'm not very sure what the output format was, but the core of the program remains the same. So I print system.out.println invalid input, return. Okay, terminate the program. Okay, so this is the part where we check if both the sentences are being terminated with the correct character. Okay, then you have to count how many words in each sentence and then find the common words in each. And if a word occurs more than once, it appears once only. For example, it occurs twice in the sentence, but it is common only once, so you print it once only. Alright, and the order of the output in this format is in the order of appearance in the first sentence. Okay, so is comes first, which is common, so is, then it comes So it and then cloudy. Okay, and also this question mark, this last character is not a part of this word. Okay, so this question mark is connected to this last word. You have to remove this question mark. This dot, this period symbol is connected to this cloudy word, so you have to remove dot from this word. Okay, similarly in the second case you have B twice in the first sentence, but it is output only once as a common word. Okay, and again you have to remove this dot from the last word. All right. Okay, so my input validation is checked, and one more thing about input validation is they say here that the words are to be separated by a single blank space and are in uppercase. So this is something that is always assumed when you're solving string questions in ISC practical paper, that the input will always be in uppercase and separated by one single blank space. You don't have to add separate check to make sure that these are all in uppercase and these are all uppercase words and there is only one single blank space in between. You can safely assume that the input will be uppercase words with one single blank space between two words. So I'll just write, okay, note, okay, do not check for uppercase words slash single blank space between two words. This is not needed. Okay, you just have to go with the algorithm further so that you are able to find number of words in both the sentences and print the common words. Okay, so I am going to write a separate function, static string extract words from this string sentence. Okay, and I'm writing this function separately because I will be calling this function once each for these two lines. Okay, the first part is remove the last char. Okay, and removing the last char because again this question mark is not a part of this cloudy word and so is not this dot symbol. Okay, so I say sentence is sentence dot substring from index 0 to sentence dot length -1. Okay, removing the last char. Okay, now extracting words gets simple if you just use the split function. Okay, but I'm going to manually extract words, and I've posted a separate dedicated video on how to first count the number of words in a sentence and then second extract words from a sentence. Okay, so first we count the number of words in the sentence. So how do we count the number of words in the sentence? So we have removed this last character. Okay, and we know that two words are only separated by one single blank space. So the number of words is basically equal to the number of blank spaces plus 1. For example, this has 3 words, it has 2 blank spaces, okay, 2 white spaces. So 2 plus 1 is 3, so number of blank spaces plus 1 is the number of words. Okay, and that is the idea we use. And that is why they say this is going to be consistent, this part. Okay, you can check any other case. In this case as well, number of white spaces are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So the number of words are 5 plus 1, 6. So number of words is number of white spaces plus 1. Okay, so in num white spaces is 0. I iterate the entire sentence dot length I plus plus. Okay, get the ith character, char c is sentence dot char at I. Right, if this is a blank space, increment the number of white spaces. Okay, if c equal to blank space, okay, I say num white spaces plus plus. All right, so after this loop ends, I'm able to find the number of white spaces in this variable. So int num words are going to be number of white spaces plus 1, and then you have an array words, okay, to store the words from this sentence. Okay, and we finally return these words because the return type is a string array. Okay, now I'm not going to go in very detail on how I'm going to extract the words. I've written a separate video on how to extract words. You can take a look at it. In short, I'm going to iterate this string from left to right. As soon as I find a space, I know I am at the end of a word, so I extract everything from left to this space. Okay, I start again and then I find another space, okay, and I extract the second word, and simply I go till the end. Okay, so I say int I equal to 0, string word is blank, in which I am going to store my current word. Int index is 0, which is going to point to the index where I'm going to store the next word in this array words. So while I is less than sentence dot length. Okay, so we get the character at ith index. Okay, if this is a space, okay, we save the word. So we say words of index equal to the current word goes to blank, so that we can have the next word starting from a blank string, and then we increment the index so that the next word is stored at the next index in this array words. Else we accumulate the current character in the current word C, and we increment I then. All right, so when this loop ends, we have the words in our array words except the last word. Now why is that? Because when you are at the end of the last word, there is no white blank space after the last word. That indicates that you have to save this word, because we are saving a word when we get a blank space. Okay, so there are two ways you can do this. You can add the last word after this while loop end, so you can simply say this. Okay, or you can add a blank space, okay, to this current sentence and leave this out. Okay, so I'm going to leave this out and do this. Okay, and now I will return the words, and this is my function that will extract words from this sentence. Okay, second is count words and create array to store words, and third is extract words from the sentence into the array. Okay, the alternate split method, okay, I will show you at the end. Note alternate split method. Okay, and I will recommend you to use this alternate split method because it is very short. You don't have to remember all this. Okay, all right, I just have the practice of coding, so I am able to, I don't have to remember this, I just know this. Okay, all right, so I am able to find the words, so I am going to print the number of words for each sentence. So I say string words, print number of words in each sentence. String words 1 is extract words from line 1. Okay, and similarly words 2 is extract words from line 2. That's the name of the function, right? Extract words, right? Okay, then so you say system dot out dot println sentence 1 has these many words. So you say sentence 1 has words 1 dot length plus words. Okay, similarly sentence 2 has words 2 dot length and words. Okay, all right, so let us compile our code so far. So I'll clear, compile. Okay, semicolon, silliest of mistakes, but you will be doing this on a system, so you have the chance to fix your bugs. 4.3 string word. Okay, clear, compile. Okay, so I'll say Java ISC question 3. So I'm supposed to enter two words. So I say first, is it cloudy? Question mark. It may rain because it is cloudy. It may rain because it is cloudy. 3 words and 7 words, which is just fine. Okay, now I will write a method to find the common word. So I'll say static string array get common words. So this method takes words from both the sentences, words 2. Okay, okay, and will return the common words. So I'll say done common words. So we'll create this array now. Okay, so I say create an array to hold the common words. I'll say string common words is new string. Okay, now what should be the length of this array? So if there are two sentences, okay, the first one has 3 words and the second one has 7 words. So the maximum number of common words between the two sentences can be 3 in this case, because all words of this sentence is common to this sentence. Okay, so the maximum number of common words that the two sets of words can have is basically the lesser number of words. Okay, so it is basically the lesser quantity of these two. So 3 or 7, we choose 3. Okay, but just for the sake I'm going to go with words1 dot length plus words2 dot length. Now why am I doing this? Because I just want the right output. I don't want to save some memory here. Okay, you can find the smaller of these two and then create an array of that length. You can do that. Okay, so I'll say note the maximum number of common words between the two equal to minimum of words1 dot length and words2 dot length. Okay, and this is just length not. Okay, all right, since this is an array. Okay, now the next part is extract common words. So how do you extract common words? So I am going to iterate the words of sentence 1. I am going to pick up each word in each iteration and match it against all the words of the second sentence. If a match is found, I know I have a common word, I save it to my common words array. Okay, the second thing I need to take care is I don't add the same word twice. For example, it is common with this it and common with this it as well. So I just need to add once. How do you check that? You check it by comparing the matched word against all the words that have been added to this array common words. I'll show you. So first is iterate the words of sentence 1. So for int I equal to 0, I less than words 1 dot length I plus plus. Okay, so I'll say string word 1 is words 1 of I. Okay, find this word in the second sentence. Okay, so I'll say for int j equal to 0, j is less than words 2 dot length and j plus plus. Okay, if there is a match, that is if word 1 dot equals words 2 of j. Okay, this is the jth word in words 2. We have a flag, we say boolean found is false, which is set to found is set to true. Okay, so after this loop, if this found flag is true, if found, okay, I know that this word 1 exists in words 2. Okay, I have found a common word, but I also have to check if this word 1 is already in common words or not. Okay, so check if word 1 is in common words. Okay, so boolean exists is false. Okay, so you iterate common words now, common words dot length. Okay, when you create a string array in Java, all the locations in that array are by default null. Okay, so when I'm iterating this, I make sure that common words of j is not equal to null. Okay, because if I reach a null location, I know I'm at the end of all the valid words in this common words array. All right, so I say if common words of j dot equals word 1. Okay, so if this word 1 which we found was common was already there in common words, I say exists is true and I break. All right, add the common word to common words only if it does not exist. That is if not exists, that is if this common word is not in common words already, we do common words. Okay, now at which index to add, I am going to take this int j outside. Okay, so this loop stops in two cases. One is if I find a match or if common words of j equal to null. If I find a match, this will not happen. Okay, because exists will go true, this condition will go first. If common words of j is equal to null, it means I was able to check all the words in common words and there was no match found. So j is the index where I need to add the next word. So I say common words of j is equal to word 1, which is the common word, and you finally return common words. So I'm going to get the common words. Okay, string common words is get common words words 1 words 2. Okay, and then you print common words. So you say system.out.println common words. okay, and print, because I want to print the following common words in the same line. So what I do is basically for int I equal to 0, I less than common words dot length, and the same condition to know that I am at the end of valid common words of I is not equal to null, and I plus plus. Okay, you do system dot out dot print common words of I, okay, plus a space, okay, and finally you do system dot out dot println change line. All right, so this is your code. Okay, let me compile and check. Clear, compile. Okay, running this now. So is it cloudy? Question mark. It may rain because it is cloudy. It may rain because it is cloudy. Common words is it cloudy, which is correct. Second case, to be or not to be. Okay, clear Java, to be or not to be dot to let go and be happy, to let go and be happy. So six words and to be. Okay, so the words that occur more than once are only output once, 2 is only output once, B is only output once. Okay, the third case is if you drive fast, you may meet with an accident. Invalid input because it ends with a comma. Okay, all right, so this is the solution. All right, it matches the output, but in this case we assume that the input is in two separate lines. Now what if the input is on one single line? Okay, so the B case is considering the input was one single line. Okay, okay, so in that case we don't read two lines separately like this. Okay, we will have string line 1, string line 2, but these will be extracted from one single paragraph, string paragraph, that I will read as one single line, and that is my entire input. Okay, so this was the 8 part and this is the B part. Okay, now I have to extract line 1 and line 2 from this paragraph, for which I am going to write another method, static string array extract lines from string paragraph. So what my idea is, basically I get string lines as extract lines from this paragraph. Okay, and if lines is null, okay, so if there was anything wrong with this paragraph, that is it does not contain exact two lines or the lines don't end with a valid terminating character, in that case I print invalid input and return. Okay, and this check is void then. Okay, we directly move on to extracting words. Okay, so if this is not the case, we will have line 1 as lines of 0 and line 2 as lines of 1. Okay, and then the remaining part where we extract words, find the common words, is the same, only the input, where the input is a single line, is changing here. Now this extracting lines will have multiple steps. So the first thing is there must be exactly two sentences in this paragraph. Okay, and for us the valid ending character are these. So basically saying there should be only two of these, exactly two of these in the sentence. Okay, so I will say int num valid terminating chars is 0. If number of valid terminating chars is not equal to 2, I return null, indicating this is invalid input. Okay, so to count the number of valid terminating chars, I say int I equal to 0, I is less than paragraph dot length I plus plus. Okay, I get the ith character as paragraph dot char at I. Okay, if is valid terminating char C, I increment number of valid terminating chars by 1. Number of valid terminating chars must be exactly 2. Okay, to contain two sentences only. Okay, the first check. The second check is the last character of the paragraph must be a valid terminating char. Okay, now I'm saying this because each sentence ends with a valid terminating char, so the paragraph, the second sentence should also end with a valid terminating char. Okay, so I'm going to say if not is valid terminating char, you have to pass the last character of this paragraph. You say paragraph dot char at paragraph dot length minus 1. Okay, in this case also you return. Okay, okay, and whenever we get null from this function call, we print invalid input. Okay, so there are two steps to check for valid lines. Now when these two checks pass, we extract lines. Okay, so I say string lines is equal to new string 2. Okay, and return lines in the end. Okay, and I will populate this 2 location array with the 2 lines. Okay, so in this case we have both these both lines in the same paragraph, so basically you have something like this. Okay, so if this is a sentence input, okay, this is my first sentence and this is my second sentence. So I have to find out where my first valid terminating character is, which is the end of the first sentence. So I say int I equal to 0 while I is less than paragraph dot length. Okay, and I iterate as long as I don't find a valid terminating character. So you say and not is valid terminating char paragraph dot char at I. Okay, as long as this is the case, I do I plus plus. So when this loop ends, I stops at the first valid terminating char. Okay, right? So extract line 1, so you say lines of 0. Okay, so you say extract line 1. Lines of 0 is going to be paragraph dot substring, okay, from index 0 to this ith index plus 1, because you want to include this last character as well. And why do you want to include this? Because when you are extracting words, you are removing this last character here. Okay, so when you are sending the line, okay, here in the main, they should contain the last valid terminating char. Okay, all right, then extract that second line, which is lines of 1 is, okay, second line will be starting from the next character till the end. So you say lines of 1 is from this index I plus 1. All right, and you finally return this array which contains the 2 lines. All right, okay, there is a very fine bug here which I see. Okay, let me just run this and see what we get. Okay, so I will run with the same input. It may rain because it is cloudy. Okay, so in this case I'm passing both the sentences in one single line as one single paragraph, but we might not get the right output. I'll tell you why. Okay, so common words are okay, 3 words, but I get 8 words in this case, in the second case, where it should be 7 words. Now can someone point out why is this happening? So this is because when I extract the second line, okay, there is this extra white space starting at the starting of the first line, which is not when you are passing it as 2 separate lines. Okay, so basically I say dot trim to remove the leading and trailing white spaces, and now you will get the correct output. Okay, so I say is it cloudy, it may rain because it is cloudy. Okay, and now it is correct. I'll run again. To be or not to be, to let go and be happy. Okay, to be. Running again. The third case is if you drive fast, you may meet with an accident. If you drive fast, you may meet with an accident. Invalid input. And the last one is this is how are you at? How are you at? Okay, all right. So you have to watch out in the original question paper. I don't have the original question paper if this extra space was given or not. Okay, if this was not given, this does not make sense. If this is given, this is very important because it will increment otherwise the number of words. Okay. Oh yeah, one more thing is if I use split. So if I simply have to use this, okay, I simply do return a sentence dot split on a white space. Okay, and I comment all this. Okay, so clear, compile. Okay, okay, so is it cloudy? It may rain because it is cloudy. Okay, correct. Again running. To be or not to be, to let go and be happy. Again correct. If you drive fast, you may with an accident. Okay, invalid input. And I was able to avoid all this. So if you people get stuck on extracting the words, all you have to do is remove the last character and use this split. That's it. And you will save a lot of time. Okay, and I'm not very sure because I'm not in touch with how they are marking the class 12 practical paper. So I'm not very sure if they are going to deduct your marks if you use split. It's already a part of this Java code. I'm not using something else, right? So this should be okay. So you can remember this for emergency case that you split and then you can run the code. And I guess the output matters a lot, but I guess you have to write an algorithm as well. Please let me know in the comments if you have to write the algorithm as well, because I'm not very sure what the latest requirement and what the latest format is. Okay, so this was the solution to this question and I hope this was helpful. This was pretty long, pretty lengthy, but I had to cover each and every point. So the other two questions, question 1 and question 3 of IC 2023 Computer Science Practical Books paper are already up. The solution to theory question papers are already up. The links to those videos are also in the description, and I will also add the link of the code for the solution in the description. Please check it out. And if you have any doubts in this code or if there's a part that you don't understand, please let me know in the comments. I'll try to explain as soon as possible. And you can always let me know in the comments if there's a question you want to solve or if there is a concept you want to discuss. Thank you.